What is up, everybody? Hope you guys all had a great start to your week. It was nothing crazy today at the floor. I mean, we had a couple of very small losses. That was really my main goal for today, was if we're going to take any L's, keep them as small as humanly possible. And we ended up taking a couple of pretty small stop losses here on PLTR. We were watching out for Tesla, but we did not get the entry we were looking for on that. So we only ended up taking 2 trades today. First one was about an 8% stop, and the second one, I believe, was like 3 or 4%. Nothing too crazy at all, actually, which is perfectly fine. We did end up seeing the move play through on PLTR, but not after some absolutely massive pullbacks here. So I'm really not disappointed with how we handled the day whatsoever. Give me 2 seconds here. I don't know why my camera is not working. Hold on. Bear with me. Pretty confident that I've absolutely destroyed this camera's battery, which, well, unfortunate, but whatever. All right, whatever. It is what it is. We're going to go camera free tonight, I guess. What's up, Ceci? What's up, Ray? All right. For those of you guys that have been here before, you already know what's up, but those of you that are new, welcome in. We are going to be going through my watch list from A to Z here, going over the setups that I like and probably quite a few setups that I don't like as well. Hopefully I haven't checked the charts since we got off mic today, so hopefully we had at least something set up throughout the day. Last night, that was really all that I was hoping for in the Sunday night prep lesson. Really all I was hoping for is, even if we didn't see anything major today, we at least are setting something up for tomorrow. I know things are probably a little thrown off due to war news and all that, so it's not super surprising that we're not seeing a ton right now. Would have been nice to follow up last week with another super clean week, but I guess the market does not want to give us that yet. Looks like already through a decent amount of the stocks in the top portion of the watch list here, and we really do not have much at all. Coin actually looks pretty good right here. I like the high of day from today. This is also the high of day from Thursday. Have a nice little flat top forming here at 186.39 to the upside. I do like this. I would actually probably target a move on this around 190. So yeah, we've got a decent amount of room here. Let's go ahead and see if we have any trends on this. We do have a 15-minute trend at 189.65. 5-minute trends are pretty useless at this point. I mean, that's going to have to break before we get there, and this is invalid, so we're all good. Yeah, we've got plenty of room on coin. That actually looks really nice, and I know every time I say something about coin, I remember why I don't trade it, but if this is the best setup that we have, then I'm honestly okay with that. It's a really good looking level. It's a really good looking setup. We just have to go into it being aware of the fact that coin is a little difficult sometimes with the volume and the momentum. But once it gets going, those spreads tighten up. And the contracts do move pretty nicely. It's just a matter of actually getting that move started. Let's see here. Crowd, CRWV. I'm all good on these. MU make money tomorrow. So see, we will check out MU once we get down there. Let's see. By the way, if anybody has any stocks that they want me to take a look at, feel free to send those in chat here, and I will gladly take a look at them once we get through my watch list. The hood kind of setting up the same way that coin is, except with way less room here, with trends on higher time frames, which is a little sketchy. Not the biggest fan of that. I would like to see some hood setups coming soon, though. We've not traded hood for a minute here, and we also have not traded meta for a minute here either. So meta setups, hood setups, I would love to see some of those soon. Right now, though, we just really don't have much on these. Meta at 661, I would be interested. I actually like today's high of day as well. Playing that into the 661 level. Today's high of day is 659.94, so basically the 660 break. That actually looks solid. This looks like it could have a pretty nice breakout if we get up here. 659.94 entry level, first target 661 break, and then final target would be the 663.35 resistance break. Above that, we've got quite a bit of room to the upside here, but with that 659.94 entry, I don't think we would really even need to look for much more than that. It actually looks pretty solid. I don't know why I still have CRWV marked. My bad. Let's see. All right, so meta's looking good if we can get back up here. If not, no big deal, but if we can get back up there, I do really like that 660 level. Microsoft kind of doing nothing right now. MSTR, same thing. Okay, so see, what's up, Kelly? What's up, Tony? So see, what were you looking at on MU? Because I feel like I know what you were looking at here. And I kind of like it, and I kind of don't at the same time. I'll give you the reasons why I don't, because I'm sure you can already tell here why it doesn't look bad. We do have some resistances here. We do have kind of sort of a flat top here that looks like we could try and recover back to the upside. But also, the reason that this sketches me out is because we are still stuck in one big range here, right? So we have this bigger range between 438.77 down to 392.71, but we also have another consolidation range right here pretty much, which is actually right where we're at. And it looks like we could get stuck in quite a bit of chop here. That is why I am not the biggest fan of this. Like I said, that, what is this, like 417.80 area. It's not a perfect flat top, but I see what you're looking at. And it doesn't look terrible. It's just this consolidation range. I really don't want to get stuck in chop right around here, especially since we have broken below one of the consolidation zones within this larger range, right? So now it would be very easy for us to chop around and maybe even reject out of this consolidation or this previous consolidation zone. It just looks like a lot of opportunity for chop, in my opinion. Looking at the pullback on the weekly chart, let's see. Okay, so yeah. Are you looking for downside or upside, to see? What were you looking at here? I'm just curious. Downside. Okay. Gotcha. I actually think I might like that better. Still not the biggest fan of this, to be honest with you, but it's something to keep an eye on. This just looks really, really gross right now, in my opinion. Like I just nothing here is standing out enough to make me want to trade this. And you guys know the last couple of weeks I've been doing my best to be as picky as possible with everything, which chat wise may have, not been the greatest decision, because I know people want trades, they want whatever, but I'm not really in the game of trying to take as many trades as possible. So, I'm doing what's best for me and best for everybody else's self-interest, to be honest, except, people sometimes just want to take more trades. So maybe being a little too picky, it's obviously going to leave us with less setups, but those setups that we're taking are, going to be higher quality, lower risk, better reward when they do give us the moves that we're looking for. So yeah, I think I'm probably going to pass on that. I'll keep an eye on it. I mean, there's nothing wrong with watching out for it, but there's just nothing here that's really screaming at me that I need to take that trade. And really, even if I tried to devise a plan around this right now, it would not be a full plan. It would not be a very clean plan. So yeah. Let's see here. Man, we really don't have much. They gave us 1 week of pretty easy price action here, and had to go and get in war. That is actually insane. We've had like a month and a half of nothingness. We've been making do with it, but a month and a half of nothing crazy. We have one great week, and at the end of that great week, we get into war. Let's see here. PLTR actually still looks really good. We're lining up at an old level that I have here at 147.12. I guess we did break by 2 cents. I still actually really like this to the upside. These levels actually aren't even old resistance levels. These are old support levels that are now acting as resistances. So since we actually have set up again at these levels, or at this level more importantly, I like it. I like it. 147.14. I'm just going to move that to the high of day from today. I wouldn't be too worried here at 147.56. Let me go ahead and go back here a little bit and take a look at, oh man, we got room. We've got room on this. Yeah. I think PLTR could go pretty crazy on this push here. I'm going to keep my targets relatively simple on this. I would be looking for a 148 first target and 150 second target. Anything above 150 is just going to be momentum based for me. But I mean, really, overall, we've got room on this up to like 154 pretty easily on the higher time frames. So I do like that. But yeah, like I said, the targets are probably just going to have to be... we have a 30-minute trend here at 149.63. Okay, we can use that as well. That's good. 15-minute, a little steep. Okay. Cool. So we'll use We'll use 148 as the first target. That's a relatively conservative target here. Pretty easy to hit if we have any momentum at all. So 148, then the 30-minute trend at 149.63. I like that. Okay. Boom. Moving on. Let's see here. We're going to go back, by the way, and make the full watch list. Just for those of you that haven't been here before, we're going to go back and make the full watch list once we get through. But yeah. All right. And then Tesla, I'm not a big fan. It didn't really go anywhere today. All we did was recover the after hours sell-off and pretty much stayed where we closed on Friday. So I really don't have anything here on Tesla. So it looks like really we've got coin, we have Meta, and we have PLTR, which that's completely fine. If we have a million things to watch, we're only going to be able to pay attention to a couple of them anyways, so I'm not mad about that. Let's see here. All right, starting off, coin. Looking at the 186.39 flat top for a breakout. Targeting a move to the... What are we looking for here? Let me go back and see if we had any trends here. I thought we had something here on the 15-minute. Yeah. Okay. Targeting a move to the 15-minute uptrend at 189.74. I actually think that's going to be my only target for this. Unless contracts are just moving absolutely insane, I may look to scale out a half here at 188 and then sell the rest at that trend. But it's only Tuesday. Well, it's only Monday today. It's only going to be Tuesday tomorrow. So yeah, I like that. Targeting that 15-minute trend at 189.74. That's really the cleanest target that I'm gonna have for this. Let's see. Next up, though, we do have Meta. The watch list portion of this stream might be extremely short, guys. So Meta, I'm gonna be looking at the 659.94 resistance for a breakout. Targeting a move to the next resistance level at 661. Above this, I will be looking for a move to the next major level at level. There we go. Next major level at 663.35 for my final target. Now, let's say we push pre-market, right? We break this 660 level, we break 661. I would still look at 663.35 for a separate trade. And that actually goes for pretty much any way that we would approach that level. If we end up taking profits earlier than that, and then we come up to that level, I would still be interested. Okay, that's a big enough level that pretty much no matter what we do here, I'm going to be interested in this level. Obviously, if we're approaching it with no momentum at all, then we're going to skip that trade. But I'm saying any way that I would take this string of resistances here, if we took this and took profits on this break, I would still be interested in this as a separate trade. You know, if we took profits any earlier than this, I would still be looking at it to take it again. So even if we don't see this play out exactly how it's written on the notes here, I would still be interested in 663.35. All right, and then I guess the last thing here is PLTR. super short watch list here. I hate when we do this for streams. I hate when we do this for streams and the watch list literally ends up being 3 things long. Let's see here. So PLTR looking at the 147.14 high of day for a breakout, targeting a move to the 148 break, then the 15 minute, nope, 30 minute trend at 149.63 for my final target. All right, well, that is the watch list. That's and they're all 3 upside too, so hopefully we get some upside in the market tomorrow. And that's a little anticlimactic here, having 3 setups and we're already done 27 minutes into the stream, but it is what it is, I guess. But we do have a whole half an hour here to turn this into a Q&A if you guys have questions. Anything trading related. Actually, I guess it really doesn't even have to be trading related. Any questions at all? We have a half an hour. And I will sit here and gladly answer your trading questions until you don't have any more. Let's see, how about crowd? Sissy said. I have nothing on this to see. This stock is also super lacking in volume. And Circle, I do like trading Circle when we have good setups, but I don't even know what I would look at here. Like literally the only thing we have right now is the after hours high. Yeah. Yeah, the only thing we have on this is the after hours high, and we really don't even have any setups forming here after hours. Like there's nothing notable here. We had a crazy, ridiculous push off open and then pretty much grinded for the rest of the day. We can do that, Tony. You are correct. We can do that. So see, I'm not exactly sure what you mean by that. You said I have take less medium size. Can you rephrase that question? What levels are you interested in for Apple? Let's see here. Let's see. I mean, I'm not too interested in Apple in general, to be honest with you. I would say that the larger levels here, like what's drawn out here, right here, 253.70, 252. What is this? Hold on. 252.18. I like those, but even if we get down there the wrong way, I'm still not even gonna like those. Honestly, the pre-market low from today does not look that bad. I just really don't like trading this stock. So I think that I just, in my head, find every reason not to look at this stock. Like this actually does not look bad at all. 259.20 into 258.16. We've got a decent amount of room down. Yeah, it really doesn't look bad. I don't know what it is, but I think my brain just tries to justify any reason to not take this trade. I just really don't like trading Apple. The setup looks good enough though that honestly I might just throw it in the watch list. So we have one more thing. If these end up breaking overnight, we at least have one more thing we can look at. Yeah, Ward, Circle was awesome for a minute. We just don't have any setups on it right now. I still like Circle. I still like trading that stock. I was looking at PLTR upside because that's what I had planned ahead of time. To see. I mean, we had a really nice looking resistance level that we were looking at for a breakout. It didn't end up getting there the way that I would have wanted to take it for a breakout. So we were looking to take it as a bounce and kept a super tight stop loss on it. Our risk to reward would have been absolutely insane on that. Tony, I can't even believe you had to ask that question. I want you to take a guess. I said Tony. Let's see. iPhone for sure. iPhone for sure. Let's see here. All right, we're throwing Apple on here. Apple, I'm going to be looking at the 259.20 pre-market low for a break to the downside, targeting a move to the next major support level at 258.16. We should be able to see a move straight through this level on the break. On the break of that pre-market low. Anything below 258.16 I will be using momentum for my final target. All right, there we go. Why do you choose only repeat stocks? So see, part of the reason that I am looking to trade the same stocks over and over and over again is because those stocks are typically the ones that have volume. They are also the ones that we are super familiar with because we have been looking at them day in and day out every day for however long it is that you've been trading. In my case, it's years. So when I have somewhat of an advantage by kind of knowing how that stock will react to certain things versus looking at a random stock that I've never looked at before, I'm going to have a better advantage on the stock that I am used to and I understand how it moves. Right? Because that's actually the majority of the reason that I didn't want to trade penny stocks anymore, because when I very first started out, I started out trading penny stocks and I didn't like the fact that every single day I was looking at a random stock that I had never heard of before. I'm never going to see it again. I have absolutely no idea how it moves. Like, you cannot have confidence in your execution when that is how you are approaching your trading day. Like, I've literally never seen the stock, never paid attention to it, never heard of it, never going to see it again. I have no idea how it moves. How can I execute with confidence on something like that, right? And that's the other thing, Ray. Just like Ray said, contract volume is terrible on a lot of these now. Even some of these stocks that used to have great volume have absolutely atrocious volume now. And we literally just cannot do anything with that. If a stock has 100 in contract volume throughout the entire day, I cannot do anything with that. I need these stocks to be relatively liquid. I mean, they don't have to have, they don't have to have Tesla and Apple and, I don't know, sometimes Meta volume. They don't have to have SPY volume, but they need to have enough volume that I know without a doubt when I click buy, I'm going to be able to get filled. And when I click sell, I'm also going to be able to get filled quickly. So these stocks that I see some people trade where it's like 100 contract volume in the matter of 3 hours, like, okay, so you're either trading one contract or you are literally just taking the risk. Like whatever happens, happens. So yeah, that's why I try and stick to the same stocks and why I skip over so many of them. One of those being Crowd. I pretty much always skip over because I know that they just don't have very good contract volume 99.9% of the time. That's another thing with low volume. Spreads are going to be super wide. And a lot of the times those spreads, you're looking, even on Coin has decent contract volume for the most part. And those spreads are still like 15% sometimes or more. So a lot of these stocks on my watch list, I could actually just delete. I could delete the majority of my watch list and we would still be fine. The only problem that I have with that is the off chance that something has earnings and it does have volume after those earnings. That's really the only time I ever expect to trade 75% of my watch list is after these stocks have earnings. So like Airbnb, this stock used to have great volume, used to be able to trade it on a daily basis. I want you guys to all take a look at the contract volume on Airbnb right now. 3, 20, 27, 583, 4, 2. What are we supposed to do with that? We can't do anything. All right, and then we look here, look at the spreads. 195 bid, 241 ask. That is a 23.5% spread. So let's say we somehow managed to get a 10K position with 3 contracts, or 3 in contract volume. I'd be down $2,300 just off my fill. I'm okay. I'll pass on that. Coin you took most of time, stop loss, any reason? Any reason? I don't know that I would say most of the time. Maybe recently. Overall, definitely not. But I mean, the reason for hitting a stop loss is the same across any stock. It doesn't matter what stock it is. The when you hit a stop loss, that's the point where your trade just does not look like it has a higher probability of playing out in your favor than not. I mean, it doesn't matter. That could go for any stock. It has nothing to do with the stock by stock basis. It's when you hit a stop loss, that is the point in which the trade looks like it is going from being in your favor to being not in your favor. So between, let's just say, between here and here, the stock is doing really well, right? This is a range where it is still looking like it is possibly, it has a higher probability of playing out in your favor, right? But by the time we get down here, for example, by the time we get down here, it looks like we are most likely not going to see this move play out. Right? So that, I mean, that's where our stop loss levels are on stocks. They are at the spot where the stock goes from having a higher probability of playing out to a lower probability of playing out. Has nothing to do with the stock itself. Now, I'm a little bit, I might be a little bit tougher on certain stocks like coin, just because the spread on the contracts is a little wider. So I'm trying to probably be a little bit more protective over my position on coin than I am on something like Tesla, because Tesla has generally pretty good spreads. Right? So we might be a little bit tighter on coin as far as stop losses go. And PLTR, I mean, it was the same thing on PLTR today. Contracts were great. Contracts had just fine spreads. Spreads were fine. And I was still super tight on the stop loss because I just knew if we did not, if we didn't hold that specific level that we were looking at, we're most likely not going to play out. So what's the point of having a wider stop loss when I know even if we get back below where our entry price was, we're still probably not going to see it play out? Right? So I just moved my stop losses even tighter, and it worked out perfectly in our favor both times. Right? We took 2 stop losses today, but we had really, really nice stop losses on those. It worked out perfectly both times, because both times we would have hit our major, like we would have hit our regular stop loss anyways if we didn't stop out sooner. Yeah, Sissy. I mean, the main ones that we're trading on at least a weekly basis are the ones that we're looking at on a weekly basis. Those stocks are still fine volume wise. Tesla, Meta, PLTR, some PLTR I feel like comes and goes, but that's actually just setup wise. The contract volume on PLTR is pretty much always there. So Tesla, Meta, PLTR, Nvidia is another one that has good contract volume. Nvidia just hasn't been having really any setups that I've been interested in. MSTR, I mean, MSTR contracts are typically pretty solid as well. This is the thing. Coin is fine. It's not terrible. It's not my ideal stock to be trading. If we have anything that looks better than coin, I'm typically going to be looking at that. Or even if we had, let's say we had the same exact setup on coin and Meta, I'm definitely going to be looking at Meta. But that's personal preference, maybe. So C has been on a Walmart kick. I've been keeping an eye on this thing, and we've done absolutely nothing. The contract volume is, the spreads are about 10%. We have done absolutely nothing on this stock. Like, I don't know where the hype is coming from, Sissy. Have you been trading this, or have you been watching it, or like what are you looking at here that you like so much? Because I swear you have brought this up in like 4 lessons now. I'm trying to see what Sissy's seeing. Just watching. All I know is when there's a setup on Walmart, Sissy is going to be ready to pounce. That's another one I've heard you guys bring up a decent amount. And I just, every time I've looked at it, I've seen nothing that I like here. Yeah, I don't know. I don't see anything here that is appealing to me. Volume isn't great. Contracts are super expensive. Super expensive. The 620 calls have a $200 spread. Yeah, yeah, these contracts are wild, Tony. This is like old Amazon contracts, except worse spreads, which is saying something. Is old Amazon contracts were not for the weak. I don't know. For some reason I feel like we're just gonna see some like crazy sell off overnight, and we're gonna end up with completely different setups than everything that we just wrote down right now. For those of you guys that are not in the floor though, I'm gonna pull this watch list up so you guys can screenshot it and save it and do as you please with it. Also, for those of you that are in the floor, I'm sending it to the chat right now. And for those of you that want to be in the floor, click the first link in the description. How about that? Let's see here. We got about 12 minutes left. Do we have any more questions? How to decide position size for every trade? So the way that I approach my position sizing, I base my sizing off of my stop loss. We talked about this a bit in a recent lesson. I don't know if it was Thursday's lesson or Sunday's lesson. I believe it was Thursday's lesson. But the position sizing, I'm taking my position size based off of my stop loss. So also based off of how much I'm actually willing to risk on that trade dollar wise. All right, so let's say, for example, you want to risk $100 on a trade. All right, give me just a second. We're gonna pull up a little scratch pad here. All right, so let's say, for example, you are willing to risk $100 on a trade. You know that between your entry level and where your stop loss sits on the stock, we're just going to use this for example purposes. This is not a baseline stop loss or anything like that. But let's say between your entry level and your stop loss on the stock, you know that that is going to be right around 10%. Okay? So if you're willing to risk $100 on that trade, you know that the move between here and here is going to be right around 10%. That means that your max position size should be $1,000. Right? Now, let's up this and say you're willing to risk $1,000 on this trade. You know that same stop loss applies. It's going to be right around 10% here. That means your max position size can be 10K. Okay? And let's say we'll chop this in half. Let's say that the stop loss is going to be around 5% between entry and stop loss level on the chart. That means if you're willing to risk $100, the max position size you can take is 2K. All right, 2K, 5% of that, that's $100. And once again, we'll put the comma back in here and say you're willing to risk $1,000. Stop loss is going to be right around 5%. That means your max position is going to be 20K. Okay, so obviously this is just numbers that we're writing down on a screen here. These are not real numbers, but what you can do is if you're super familiar with the stock, once again, another reason that I trade the same stocks over and over and over again. If you're super familiar with a stock, we are always trading the same contracts essentially. Even though they have a different strike price, we're always trading at the money contracts regardless, right? So these contracts are going to gain and lose value the same way every Monday. They're going to gain and lose value the same way every Tuesday. They're going to gain and lose value the same way every Wednesday, every Thursday, every Friday, right? So we know how these contracts move. You can do the math in your head very quickly just by being used to how the stock moves without even looking at anything else. But let's say you're not familiar with the stock, you're not familiar with how the contracts move or anything like that. You can calculate that move with the delta. So let's say our delta right here, 40, okay? So that means in a dollar move on Tesla, these contracts should move about 40 cents. All right, now let's say our stop loss is only 20 cents away from our entry level. Okay, I played 2,500 per trade, whatever 2,500 can buy of those contracts. See, that's another valid way to do that. I believe once you have an account that is a little bit, it doesn't have to be a massive account, but an account where your position sizing is not bare minimum position sizing. Like Ray, even with your $2,500 positions, you can do exactly what I'm saying right here, right? You have room to move up, you have room to move down in your position sizing as well. But anyways, like I said, the delta here is 40. That means on a dollar move on the stock, the contract should move about 40 cents. Let's say our stop loss level is 20 cents away from where we initially entered. That means that we are going to take that 40 cents that those contracts are going to move, multiply that by 0.2. That means those contracts are going to move about 8 cents in that 20-cent move. Okay, 8 cents of, we'll just go ahead and say 82, right? 8 cents divided by 82 cents. That is going to give us about a 9.7% stop loss, 9.75% stop loss. So you can do the math off the delta of the contracts to do the same exact thing that I'm just doing in my head. Your numbers are actually probably going to be a little bit more accurate than mine, but I also always overestimate what my stop loss is going to be. So let's say I think it's going to be somewhere between 10 to 12%. I'm just going to go ahead and say 15%. Right? If I'm doing the math in my head quickly, if I think it's going to be somewhere between 10 to 12%, I'm going to go ahead and say it's going to be a 15% stop loss, and then I'll size based off of that. Right, so see, our stop losses did end up being 8% and 3%. You're correct. Before then, they were going to be closer to 10 to 12. So see, I was down very, very minimally. I think I was down $700-800. It was closer to 800. It was high sevens. Well, it was, I think it was like 789. For sure. That's what I'm saying. Like I'm not disappointed with how those trades played out at all. And I was in with decent sizing. I mean, I wasn't in crazy, but I wasn't in as light as I was pretty much all week last week. I took super light position sizes last week. Light position means I'm going in with less money than a large position. I'm not exactly sure what your question is there. Let's see. If I say I'm taking a light position, that means I'm taking a smaller position. Like if my typical position size is 10K, if I'm taking a light position, it's going to be less than 10K. If I'm taking a heavy position, it's going to be more than 10K. I mean, that's all relative. A light position for you could be one contract. A heavy position could be 2 contracts. No problems to see. All right, guys, we have about 2 minutes here. Do we have any final questions before we wrap this up? Sorry for the lack of a camera tonight. But yeah, watch list is up in the floor. So if you guys want to trade with me and the team, click that first link in the description, and I will see you all in there first thing in the morning. All right, you as well, Sisi. Thank you guys all for sticking around. I will see you all first thing in the morning for pre-market review. Have a great day tomorrow.